video, I'm going to do some review in R. First of all, please make sure you have downloaded the R in the cram page. Here is my cram page in here. And just find one of the R which is for you guys. And when you just click one of them, you will see this is the last release one. And just go and click and download this one, okay? And also you may want to download RStudio too. And here is the web page, and please go down and try it for free, and then it's going to be free download for you guys, and both of them are open sourced. But please make sure you have to have R in your computer to be able to use RStudio. Here's my R page, and you will see I have this version in here right now. And first thing what I do is that I go File, New File, and RScript. Generally, I prefer to use RScript, and of course you are always able to go and just use the console. But when you use RScript, it's easier to go back and find your comments later on. Okay. And first thing I do is that I just add some comments, and here is, let's say I have revision, and just save it somewhere. And let's say this is the revision. I want to just save it in desktop. Here is my revision.r. And let's start with a very basic math. I have 1 plus 1, and I just write it here and comment enter. And you can say in Windows I can control enter, or you can write the same guy in your console, and let's say 1 plus 1 and enter, and you will see it in here. Okay, you can use R and to generate some sequence 1 to 100 by 1, or it may start like 2.35 to 100, okay, by 1 again. And maybe you notice this number in squares, just giving the place of your object in here. And so R tells you when it's not able to interpret your code. Let's say instead of 1 to 100, you said 1 to 100. And now R is not able to see your comment, and please just correct your typo, and then you are good to go. Okay, and you can always use R as a calculator. Let's say 1 plus 5, or 3 times 5, or 100 over 5. Okay, you are always good to go as a calculator. And so if you start R with an hashtag, the line with an hashtag, R is not going to read that part. You see, 1 plus 1 is not here because this is just a hashtag, and we use it to comment on our code in here. And let's start with a virtual dice. I want to go from 1 to 6, and this is my dice, the faces of dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I want to store it somewhere. Let's give it a name. My dice 1 to 6. Here is my dice. It's going from 1 to 6. I'm so sorry. Maybe you will see that when you just save it to an object, you just see in that object in your global environment as your dice. Okay, you just save it there, and now I'm able to use that one. And when you just give a name to an object, and please just do not start with a number or like this one, like 1. Okay, don't start with that one. R doesn't like it. Okay, it doesn't have to start with a character in here. Don't start with a symbol or a number. And R is case sensitive. Please remember, AAA, for example, is 555. Here is my AAA, and if I say AAA, R doesn't know what is AAA, okay? And so you can just say AAA, then R is good to go, okay? And also you can just do something like this one. You may start with a capital A, then just say this is 666, and you have now different AAAs. Okay, just go and see in your global environment. You have one in here, one in there. Okay, please remember our overrides. Let's say my AAA was 555, and if I just say my AAA now is 77 or 777, and now our overrides, and then you see that now your A is 777. Okay, so if you want to remember which objects we used so far, and let's say I just want to remember them, you can just ls to list what you have so far in your global environment, AA, and my dice. Okay, and also we can do some math by using our dice in here. Let's say I want to do my dice -1. Okay, and if you want to write it somewhere, let's say I have my dice 2, you can just write this guy, my dice -1. Okay, now you have your dice, just -1, and save it somewhere. And you are still keeping your dice as the original. Okay, you have your dice right now. And also you can do inner and outer multiplication in here. Let's say for inner one you have my dice, and for this sign you are good to go to do, sorry guys, I have to write my dice too. And now you have my dice over my dice. Here is your inner product in here, and that means you have one of your dice in here, and then you have your my dice as horizontal and then as vertical, and just do that multiplication in here. And also you can do the outer multiplication, my dice like this one, not 0, O, and let's say I have my dice. Now I have my outer multiplication, and that means first of all I got it as my dice as vertical and then horizontal, then just multiply them. Okay, and if you want to convert your vector into an n-dimensional matrix, there are several ways to do that. You can just give a dimension for your vector. I have my dice as my vector. If I want to have 2 rows and 3 columns, I can just do that. And when I just write my dice, now it is a matrix instead of a vector. Okay, and you can also convert your matrix into arrays by using dimension function. And let's say you have your dice and you want to add a third dimension in there. Let's say I want to have the 1 row, 2 columns, and 3 arrays. And when you just write your new array, you will see that this is your first, second, and third array, and like all of them have 1 row and 2 columns, as you already said in here. Okay, and of course there are another ways to generate matrix. In R, maybe you will see that you can do one job with several ways, and you, after a while, when you get accustomed with R, you will find your best way or your own way in here. Okay, let me put top there, and let's say I want to generate a matrix. Here is my matrix. I can just use matrix as a function to generate it, and here is my dice. My number of rows is going to be 2. It's up to you guys. And here is M. This is my new matrix I generated by using matrix function. And also, maybe you will see that I'll write it by row, just starting from here, and I mean by column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to change the order, and if you want to write your vector by row, then you can just do this. I have my M matrix. Just use matrix function and just take my dice vector, and I'm going to write number of rows as 2, and if you just say by row equals true, and it was false by default, and you will see that now I generated your matrix by row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the transpose of the previous one. Okay. And also there is another way to generate arrays, and here is my new comments. Here is my array, and I can just say array, and first of all you give your vector, and you can just now give the dimensions to R, and please R generate an array for me, and this is going to take this vector as an input, and by using these dimensions, please generate me a new array. And R is going to generate you a very beautiful array in here. Just 3 dimensions in your array, and you have 2 rows and 2 columns. You can always play with that one. And there's a function in R, it's just giving you time and date. Let's say this is the computer time. And if you want to see and just write it over somewhere, I want to say it as now. Now is my system time. Here is my system time. And if I want to see it, I see this is my system time. And if you want to see the class of now, R is going to give you this POSIX CT. It is showing the seconds between now and the 1st January of 1970. It is the universal time coordinated zone in here. And if you just unclass, now you will see POSIX CT is giving you the seconds from that time. Okay. And if you want to see the date and time, like 1 million seconds ago, if you want to see that one, let's first define any object as million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have my 1 million. If I say now minus 1 million seconds, and you will see that this is 1 million seconds from before from now. Okay. And here is what I wanted to say, and just do some, I just wanted to do some very basic revision in R.